We are live.
And welcome back to But Wait There's More. This is episode 8. I'm Hans, this is Ray, and we are once again filming in front of a live studio audience. So,
Yay!
Shenanigans might ensue. Now, when we left our intrepid heroes, the group had successfully infiltrated the castle, while dear Owben Wilson had not so successfully infiltrated the castle. Yeah. So where we left off, Owben got sent to the kobolds, and the rest of the group kind of went about their business and started doing stuff around the castle. Yes. Such things and whatnots. And so there's a few things that happened. There's a couple standout moments. While Owben is off being directed by the kobolds, Ito and Fergus and I think one other person, we can't remember who now.
Unfortunately, folks, a lot of these episodes are months in the past.
Yes.
And the gags and wherewithal and just the crying and the laughing and the running and the screaming, it all kind of runs together after a while. So you do have to kind of bear with us.
We are catching up, though. We're getting close to present time as far as where we are in the current game. But, so Ito, our wizard, and Fergus encounter the giant that is in charge of, actually owns this flying castle. The cloud giants actually own the castle, and they come across him, and they have a really interesting conversation where they convince the cloud giant to let them take care of the cultists, because the cloud giant is kind of like an ally of convenience with the cult of the dragon, and his main idea was that if Tiamat comes back, it will be something that the giants can rally around in order to attack the dragons, because he wants the giants to be strong again, but because of the way the clans work and whatnot, they won't fight together. So he's thinking that with Tiamat back, the giant clans will come together and they'll be strong again. Well, Fergus and Ito do a really good job of role-playing their characters. Steve and Ray did a really good job, and
Steve did especially well. It's a beautiful thing. It's the kind of thing you wish you could stick a camera on every moment, because when you see someone that is actually passionate, I mean, we sat there and watched Steve deliver this passionate, detailed, brilliant
analysis
to this lord, for lack of a better term, and it's just like you're sitting there trying to convince someone who honestly really doesn't care about the whole plight, because what they're dealing with as far as the villains of the whole thing is a means to an end.
Yeah.
So to actually sit there and it's, you know, when you're trying to talk good and evil with neutral characters, how could it possibly work? This time it worked out very well, and it was just the kind of thing. It was actually it was a great thing to be there, because it's like, wow, where's the cameras? Hollywood, hello.
Yeah, and as a DM, my view on it is, if you role play really well and are very convincing with your arguments and your thought process and just playing your character, I'm going to reward you by making it easier for you when you roll. Now, with this, there was almost no rolling needed because of the previously mentioned eloquent delivery that Ito uses with this cloud giant. And I'm on the other side arguing like, what do I care? You know, you're puny. I don't care what you do and whatnot. But Ito uses logic and makes good points and brings the cloud giant around to his perspective. And so the cloud giant, basically gives him the ominous dominus, say, hey, like, you go kill whoever you need to kill, and when stuff starts really popping off and you're ready for a good fight, you call us and I'll bring the giants. I mean, it was like he did an amazing job with convincing this giant. He just basically turned him to their side of the conflict So, he's going to kind of go off and do his own thing. He's not going to really help until something really big and nasty comes along and the Giants can come in for a good old fight. So that handles that. There's not going to be any interference from the Giants, and now the party is ready to go handle business and finally take down the main cultists that they have been tracking down for the better part of 6-7 months, playing time. Now, cutscene to Owben. While they're doing that, they're killing stuff, and they end up in a tower with a vampire who they eventually kill.
Meanwhile, scrub that pot!
Right. Well, they initially tried to get Owben away from the kobolds, but they weren't able to convince the kobolds because Rezmir had given very specific orders not to let him out of their sight. And, kobolds, if they're given a chance to lord their power over a more intelligent being, they will. I mean, it's that Napoleon complex. Aha! I'm in charge of you now! It's the guy who gets kicked around all the time, and now he's got the power.
Come with me, peon.
So they failed to convince the kobolds to let him go, and Owben tries to save himself. Now, this is another kind of example where Matt gets ahead of himself, and he has a decent plan conceptually, but in the actual doing of the plan, it didn't work out so great.
If I may interrupt for a moment. Folks, we've had a few people mention somewhere along the way that it seems to be that we pick on poor dear child Matt entirely too much. Now, we're not saying that Matt is the only one who's ever made a mistake. Fergus has hit more than one person he didn't mean to with an axe. Some people have kicked, punched, or otherwise thrown themselves into walls or punched themselves in the face. Just about everybody in the party has managed to hurt somebody else in the party, be they rolling ones or shooting wrong or just generally things just don't go the way. There's a great idea, poor execution, and that's why, let's see, Mac ended up with an arrow in the back of his head, and Fergus got a knife here, and so on and so forth. It's just that, unfortunately for Matt, his are so much more epic that we have to go in there, and with much love, don't get us wrong, buddy, but we have to share.
Because his stories are what stick in our minds after months and months. It's just, when somebody screws up because they rolled a 1, it's one thing. But when it's just series after series of unfortunate events, this is the stuff that we remember, that we tell stories about. Hey, remember that time when? And so
boom.
Now we're sharing it with you. And we greatly appreciate the fact that he's provided us with so much material.
And puts up with us.
Yes, and puts up with us. He still shows up every week, for 9 months now?
10.
So, yeah, going on 10. And so we appreciate you, and we appreciate you putting up with us giving you a hard time.
So enjoy your new bullseye tattoo.
So, back to his plan. His plan was that he's going to use prestidigitation. Got it. Almost stumbled on that one. To distract the kobolds, make them look away from him, and when they look away, he's going to shift into a rat. Well, that was his plan. That's what he had in his mind. But what he does is he says, I use prestidigitation to cause a light over there, and I turn into a rat.
Very specific.
There were no commas. There were no periods. It was just this and this. So he cast the spell, and his kobold taskmaster that is watching him is about to look when all of a sudden his subject turns into a rat. At which point, I have to say, roll initiative. Because now the kobold is on the attack. He's trying to get away. And Rezmir said, don't let him get away. Don't let him do anything screwy.
Or else.
Or else. Because if this kid gets away, then they're going to get screwed over by Rezmir. And you don't want that.
It'd be bad.
Well, the kobold rolls a higher initiative than him, and the kobold's got a whip and just cracks him. Now, with shape-shifting, if the creature that you shape-shift into loses all of its hit points, you go back to your normal form. Well, a rat has a total of 4 to 5 hit points. So it just takes one good crack of the whip, and now he's back. And
the end.
And the kobold is like, "You try to get away! You do that again, I tell Rezmir!" And, well, he's stuck. So I have to concoct a way to get him free. How I get him free is that there is a dragon in the castle that's kind of like the cult's guard dog, as it were. It's big, scary, not that bright, but it's still a dragon. So the kobold sends him to go feed the dragon. It's an undesirable job because the dragon may decide to eat a kobold in the way, so kobolds are like, "Yeah, this is a great idea. We'll send somebody else to go do it." So you have Owben traipsing around with a big pile of meat,
half of a cow,
to go to this dragon. So he takes it down there, and this is again kind of where Matt's propensity for trying to talk his way out of stuff gets him in trouble. He tries to convince the dragon of something. I really wish I could remember what it was, but needless to say, it goes horribly awry, which is kind of helpful because I need to try and kill off the kobolds so the kid can run away. So the dragon uses his breath weapon, freezes and kills the kobolds, nearly kills Owben, and Owben scrambles down another tunnel and escapes. Now he's free of the kobolds, and now he's free to go find the rest of the party.
Wandering somewhere in an enormous flying castle that he's never seen the inside of before.
Right.
So.
Well, he goes down this tunnel, and he's booking it, and just running blindly when he comes upon an exit that is just space. It's just empty air, and he has to roll a saving throw to see if he just does one of those Wile E. Coyotes where you see him running along the cliff, and then it's like ruh-roh and falls. Well, thankfully
you didn't study law.
No. Thankfully he made the save and he didn't go flying off, and so now he's okay. Well, he figures, I'll turn into a spider, I'll climb up the outside of it, and go searching from there. Great use of game mechanics. He uses abilities. He gets back into the castle, and now he's searching, but he can't find the party. So he comes up with a decent plan. He finds a rat, and he casts Animal Messenger. Now what this spell does is you take an animal and you say, "Go find this person." Give them this message, and you tell them the message that they go tell the whatever person, and it comes out as your voice. Your voice comes out of the animal, and that person gets the message. Simple, to the point.
But
there's more. Matt has a problem, and maybe it's because it's intimidating playing with a bunch of older folks and me staring at him with a neutral expression. It's amazing how you can unsettle somebody with just a neutral expression and you're staring at them. But he can't get it out. He can't get out the message, and he's fumbling for like a minute or two. And the rat is staring at him like, what? And the only thing that I could think of is seeing this druid trying to use magic on this rat, and he can't.
A simple 10-second spell followed by a message, but instead, due to indecision, he is basking this creature in ethereal energy of some way, shape, or form for 7 or 8 minutes. He drives this poor animal up through several degrees of evolution, to which point, not only do we notice that the rat's posture changes to the point where it stands upright and has the facial expression of confusion that you would find on any normal person, it also speaks.
Yes, because, as Ray said, all I could see is this animal getting basked in magical energy going horribly awry and being driven to sentience. And so eventually the rat figures out what the kid wants. He's like, I got it. I got it. And the rat stands up and walks away, and it's just, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I have to go walk around this entire castle, find people I don't even know what they look like, and there's scary stuff in here, and I don't want to do it, but I got to because of the spell and this, and he's
and it mutters off into the distance.
Yeah, he's just, and off he goes. And well, so the rat is searching for the party, and this is a big castle, and the one place that the party is, he doesn't want to go, because up where they are is a vampire. Now, I should say was, because by this point the party had killed the vampire and her consorts. But at the same time, the rat doesn't know this. He just knows that there's scary things up there that will eat him. So
might still,
and the party's up there resting because it was a pretty hard fight, and the vampires did some serious damage, as vampires are wont to do.
Pricks.
Right? And so it's a while, and eventually the rat gets to the bottom of the tower and looks up and is like, well, I've been everywhere else. And you see, the spell is kind of a compulsion. The rat can't help it. He might be sentient now. He has to go do it. So imagine you are an intelligent human being, and there is a scary place that you do not want to go, but you have to. Well, that's what the rat is dealing with. So he climbs up the tower.
The reason that he has to climb up the outside of the tower is the previous inhabitants knocked out the intermediate floors and stairwells to the tower. The only existing stable floor is all the way at the top. So this poor creature has to scale the outside of the tower, pull himself up over the edge of what's left of the battlement railing and all that, and get there. And he looks around, and it's like, here are the people I'm looking for.
He finds Fergus, because Fergus is the guy that the message is directed to. So he's like, great, I found the target of my spell. So he's walking along, he's like, yeah, almost there. Upright, he's walking along. And the ranger who is on watch goes, walking, talking rat! Whang! Freaking nukes the rat just mid-stride, pins him to the ground, and for all you Monty Python fans out there, the rat goes, message for you, sir! And the rat, and Fergus like, whoo! Rithian, our cleric, come here, heal the rat! She's like,
now, the woman literally, and honestly, in character or out, I could see and actually understand the expression. Because, one, it is very interesting that, first off, I didn't hear the rat because Fergus was sound asleep. So the sound of the arrow striking the floor next to me wakes me up, and there's a rat. And the rat has the most indignant look on his face, like, you bastard! Ow! And he's speaking. So this is new. So the only thing I could think to do is, well, we got to get the rat off the arrow, or vice versa. So we got to get the arrow out of the floor and then out of the rodent. And now we're sitting here with a punctured rodent. And it's, Rithian, help! Fix the rat! And the eye roll went all the way to Hong Kong. I mean, it was the big, beautiful eye roll. And it's like, oh, cure wounds. So the rat was safe.
She healed the rat was safe, and the rat was able to deliver the message to Fergus. Hey, we got Junior over there that is looking for you and can't find you. And, he points out, where Owben is.
And the funny part is he's actually within eyesight of us.
He's on the outer battlement.
He's on the battlements, because part of the tower is damaged, so the railing's gone and whatnot. And where we are, we didn't have to move a step or go look out a window. We look across, and there he is.
On the outer wall of
On
the
the
castle.
outer wall. We're 5,000 feet up. And he's up there on the battlements.
Pretending that he's looking, it's his job to be the lookout.
Trying to blend in with the guards and whatnot that are wandering about the place. But it's just like, what are you looking at? We're above the clouds. Do you see something? Is the Red Baron here? But anyway, it's like, we can't do that whistle. So, our ranger gets his attention, puts an arrow in the floor at his feet. And once he climbs down off of the battlement and looks around, it's like, get up here. So we're all one big happy family again. Huzzah.
And he's like, and he asked me, he's like, so is he my rat? Because the rat is sentient now. So he's thinking, this is going to be my pet. This is going to be awesome. And the rat looks, is like, I'm not going with you. And
That's my rat.
And he curls up next to Fergus because, Fergus is the one who got the cleric to bring him back to life.
That's my rat.
And to this day, the rat
hangs around. I got a little chair on the pauldron up here. He sits up there and rides around.
Hides behind the shield when stuff gets hairy, and he's actually got a name. His name is Bernard.
Yes, we named him Bernard. Well, I named him Bernard. It's a long roundabout story for that name. But it's a very tried and true heroic name, and it seems to fit him. Now, sometimes it's like laughing, because he likes to hide in the beard, and, we'll be having a conversation, and the little booger will pop out of the beard and have some shite to say, and then hide in the beard again. So, I wonder if he's got a whole apartment in there. I'm not really sure.
But,
it's just not right.
And so that was kind of how Owben, that was how Owben got back with the group, and how Bernard, the group's pet rat, or specifically Fergus's pet rat, came to be. From there, it's almost anticlimactic, because they go about finish clearing the rest of the castle. They have a confrontation with Rezmir and a couple of mages, but
battle mages.
But the thing is, at this point, with 10 people at their level, they just kind of nuke things. And so, so they weren't actually supposed to fight the battle mages alongside Rezmir, but that was the only way I could think of to make it challenging. So I made a couple of separate encounters into one, and made it more dangerous for them. And needless to say, they killed people. The wizards actually got away, because as soon as they're close to dying, those suckers go invisible and fly away.
But it was very much of a tight fight for a while.
Yes.
Because what we figured, if we got the mages out of the way first, we'd have a much easier time of dealing with Rezmir. Now, we had not, it was kind of, it's hurry up and wait, or come on, we got to decide, look, the clock's running, somebody's going to find all of us out here lined up in the hallway trying to decide what we're going to do. Well, we already determined where the mages' rooms were. And we figure, all right, this is what we'll do. Cast silence on the door or the area, and charge in there and just swamp the mages and deal with them. Now, we knew that there was an exterior balcony that just led outside and away. Like there's just a free fall on the other end of the room. So there is an opportunity that they might have some trick to get away. But we all stack up outside the door. They cast the spell, we get everything ready, we charge the door. Now, no one hears the door fly open. The two mages don't hear the door fly open. Rezmir, sitting silently in the chair watching the two mages argue, doesn't hear the door open. And then we all logjam in the door because Fergus stops and realizes, oh shite, everybody's in here. So anyway, we did the best we could. And it was an ugly, uncoordinated fight. And also, the architecture of the place can change. They can make whole walls disappear. I guess to make the place more open, or if you've got flighted things that you want to land here, you want to make sure that your pet griffin can fit in the room with you. I don't know, but they start opening up walls and making it very drafty for my short self, and I don't like a long fall.
I think somebody almost did fall.
Yes, I believe Mac almost went.
Yeah, what
And
about
we had to
Rose?
make a dive to save him.
Yeah, that was somehow Mac got pushed off the ledge and he just barely catches it, or no, Fergus went and ran and dove and caught him.
Not the beard!
And manages to save Mac from a free fall of several thousand feet.
Grab my foot! Grab my foot!
And but they're able to pull him back up. They turn the fight around and they're able to finish off kind of the final boss of this castle, and also this adventure path of Hoard of the Dragon Queen. And so they are finally done with this. They clean up some loose ends, but then it's just collecting loot. The giants drop them off.
Changing her shorts.
Yeah, changing their shorts. And then the giants fly them within a few days' ride of Waterdeep. They drop them off, say, "Hey, call us when you're ready to have a good time." And
a bunch of giants. Holla.
And so they ride into Waterdeep. They report, what they did and whatnot, and that is the close of the Hoard of the Dragon Queen adventure. And now they get to move into the Rise of Tiamat adventure path, where the cultists are moving forward with their plans to summon Tiamat from the Nine Hells, and these fine folk are trying to stop them. And it just provides a whole new range of opportunities for shenanigans. And I start working in some of my characters' backstories. They go on some side quests, and more shenanigans happen.
Yes, when your side quest ends up down somewhere where dark things live.
I make them go to the Underdark. But, as we like to say, there is more, and you'll get to see that and hear about that in later episodes. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like, share, subscribe to the channel.
Have a beer.
If there's something that we can improve on, please leave a comment. And you can find out more about us here at Silver Wolf Comics and Games by going to our Facebook and our Twitter. The links will be below, and somewhere. And yeah, thanks for watching, and have a good night.
And look at that, we got the clap.